Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back from the brand new video, and today's video is finally, and I mean finally here ladies and gentlemen, which means one thing and one thing only. It is now the official end of the international break and we move back to some Rangers things. Go ahead, honestly, just give yourselves a round of applause just for a second because we made it, we went through it and we got through the other side. A turgent, soul destroying international break, which honestly was a weird one if you think about every aspect, because not only did we have no Rangers things to break down and discuss, and that's what we live and breathe on, but we also had these idiots out in the press, these Celtic fans in the press coming after Rangers fans and Rangers fan media attacking them about this and this and this, whilst they know that they've said the exact same stuff, just trying to be hypocrites. And what I loved about this international break is Rangers fans just lifted up a mirror to these bitter-filled idiots that's been writing all this abuse about Rangers fans and Rangers media and just saying, that is what you are. Where is the same aggression and same stance that you've got against us? Where is it against yous and the people that works in your paper? It was interesting to watch all that unfold, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And you know, that old saying that's been fired around for many, many years, dinna throw stones if you live in a bitter, hate-filled glass house, because you just make yourself look like an absolute diddy, and that's what we've seen from the Scottish media during this international break. But thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can move away from that and get to talk about the thing that really matters, and that is some Rangers things. But we do have one last little intro thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, because I haven't done it now in 2 weeks, and that's just to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We still have over 52% of our regular audience that tunes into every video not hitting the subscribe button. If we can start chopping those numbers down, that 56k dream may just become a reality. But as we've waited so long for real football things to come back, let's go ahead now and talk about it. We'll start off today's video with the old oppositional preview by having a look at the Cup double winners from last season, St Johnstone, who currently find themselves sitting 8th in the old table. And it's so weird to talk about St Johnstone this season, ladies and gentlemen, because it's such a mixed bag, man. Honestly, it's all over the shop, because if we pick off and continue actually where we actually mentioned a minute ago, talking about league form, because they find themselves in 8th. If you look at the league form, it's not been great at all. I mean, they've got 3 draws and 1 loss so far this season, and they've actually only scored 1 goal in the league so far this season, and that was over a month ago versus Motherwell. However, where they haven't been anywhere near their best in league football, they certainly have been at the European level a couple of times this season, where they've actually looked like the team that won 2 cups last season, because the first time they looked like that team was away to Galatasaray, where St Johnstone took the lead versus Galatasaray. Now, yes, they were immediately pegged back, but still they finished that game with a 1-1 draw away to Galatasaray, which is a fantastic result, and they really looked like a solid outfit and they really played some nice stuff, and they took that into the second leg versus Galatasaray. And again, they were battling the opening 45 minutes, they were in the game, etc. But the longer the game went on, the more Galatasaray started to have a little bit more from the bench, started to add a little bit more, and eventually the game fell away to a 4-2 win for Galatasaray, which knocked St Johnstone out of Europa League qualifiers and moved them down to Europa Conference League, which actually brought their second best game of the season so far, where again they battled Lask away from home and they got a 1-1 draw, where again St Johnstone took the lead. And in this game especially, they had numerous opportunities to really make fun. I mean, Glenn Middleton was spectacular in this game. He got the assist, obviously, on loan from Rangers. He was brilliant in that game. He was direct. He put Boz into the mix. So there are numerous opportunities, but again, they couldn't take them, and last pegged them back late on in the game, and very reminiscent of the second leg versus Galatasaray. In that game, despite being spirited for 45 minutes, the longer the game went on, they merely fell away and they eventually lost 2-0 and got knocked out. Hence why about 2.5 minutes ago I sat here and said it has been all over the shop and been very, very hit and miss for St Johnstone, because they've played to the best of their ability twice versus the 2 best teams that they've played. They've been able to raise their game and get to that level, but against the teams that they're now expected to be able to beat now that they have won 2 cups last season, they've not been able to replicate that and find the same success. And that task now has just been made even harder, not only with Rangers coming to town tomorrow, but what happened on transfer deadline day for St Johnstone, because first of all, they lost their captain, and in my opinion, their heart and soul of their successful season last year, Jason Kerr, who went out there and just battled. He was fantastic versus us as well, and he's actually left him now to go down to Wigan. But he's not the only loss to this St Johnstone team. Nah. They've also lost their midfield maestro, in my opinion, by the name of Ali McCann, who's went ahead and left him to go ahead and join Preston North End. Doesn't make any sense to me, but still, that is two major pieces to the St Johnstone puzzle now gone, and they face Rangers tomorrow having to figure out how to plug them. Now, I know they've made a couple of signings here or there, but they've not been able to play just yet, and that's leaving a massive question to ask: what will this St Johnstone side be like now that they are without Alan McCann and Jason Kerr? It is going to be interesting to see what this St Johnstone side's able to do now, but going into this game tomorrow versus Rangers, they are still expected to play the 3-4-3 formation that they've really stuck to last season, and since Callum Davidson, who I got completely wrong when he first came in to the job, he's came in there and he's stuck to his laurels, he's went about his business that way, and he's always got that counter-attack threat with the pace on the right hand side, flooding the middle and keeping the flat free. But again, it's going to be interesting without the marshalling, without the leadership of Jason Kerr, to see if that back three, which was so disciplined all last season, still has that same rigid shape when Rangers comes to town and starts asking some questions. But again, in my opinion, just by looking into them and seeing how they've played this season, whenever they've played the best team that they can play, it usually brings the best of these laddies. They get stuck in, they make it difficult, and that's exactly what I'm expecting to see tomorrow, because they're against us, the best team in the country, and I'm sure they'll come out firing, sticking in, diving into challenges and trying to make it as difficult as possible, despite the players that's now missing for their team. But right, with that being said, that's the oppositional preview done and dusted. Hopefully I've painted enough of a picture of St Johnstone's season so far. But now it's time to actually get to the thing that really matters, ladies and gentlemen, and that is, of course, the Rangers things. And look at my face, man. It's just beaming right now because I've waited for this moment for so damn long. And you know what's funny and quite ironic about all of this, right? We're kind of bemoaning the international break and raging about the international break and being devastated during the international break. But the international break was actually needed, ladies and gentlemen, because you think back just a couple of weeks ago when we were all coming up against Celtic with the amount of players that we had, 8 first team players, the manager wasn't even there. It was a crazy time. We still put Celtic to bed, which I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I do enjoy mentioning once again. But again, we were able to put the second best team in Scotland to the sword with a squad that was missing 8 first team players. So now 2 weeks comes by and now we're back. We've got all these players back, and the fact that we are now stronger now than we did beat the second best team in Scotland is a tremendous position to actually be in. Once again, a headache for Steven Gerrard, who will actually be at the game this time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we do have some important injury team news, sorry to break for you and everything like that, and discuss. The first one is going to be Nathan Patterson, who of course got released from Scotland during the international break after having a fantastic game where he actually got an assist as well. Now, there was a lot of fears that he was going to be out for a certain amount of time. That's all been rubbish, ladies and gentlemen. Patterson is fine. He's been working hard, he's been training really good, and he's eligible to play in the game tomorrow versus St Johnstone. So that is a boost. We've got a massive boost versus Hollander as well, who was training on his own with Sweden after picking up a little bit of a knock versus Spain, but he was able to come in and play in the last game, which was actually a disappointing loss, if I'm honest with you. But he is fine and eligible for selection as well. We've only had one player come back from the international break that's not eligible to play, and that is unfortunately our boy Hadji, who tested positive for COVID. So hopefully we see him back very soon. But he's ruled out of this game tomorrow, and it's likely that he's going to be ruled out of the European game versus Lyon on Thursday. But honestly, that's it for the injury or out list for this upcoming game versus St Johnstone. The likes of Tavernier, McLaughlin, McGregor, Scott Wright, Calvin, Bassey. We've got guys like Bakuna now, who's fully fit and ready to go and ready to be unleashed too. I imagine Macy a lot more minutes now that Hadji is out, because to me they're very similar players, and I think Bakuna will now get a chance to play versus St Johnstone, so fingers crossed we actually get to see that. The only player that's actually ruled out of tomorrow's game is Ryan Jack, and that's simply because of it's not quite ready to throw him in to the deep end just yet, but he's been part of the training, he's full contact, everything like that. I imagine with the game coming on Thursday with Hadji and that being dropped out, they're probably keeping an eye on that game and having him ready for that one. But for me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at this injury list where I had 5, 6, 7, 8 players on it, and now we've only got Hadji, and that's because of a positive test, and he will be back very shortly. That's a massive thing for this football club, and it's very exciting to see us back now. And I think now we can actually start building, because for the first time all season long, we've had our entire team available, because through pre-season, through the start of the season, we've had niggles, we've had knocks, we've had Ryan Kent on one hamstring needing a rest. We've now got all that brushed to the side, and I think now is the time versus St Johnstone, who are a very good side, who are good at home, who are going to make this very difficult, but this could be the start now to really kick on and really show what we're all about and show we are the champions. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the latest Rangers team news. So that is where we stand coming in to this game, and that's a little bit of the Rangers conversation. Again, you know where I stand with this one. There's no excuses anymore, there's no injuries. We've had a fantastic result before the international break. It's now to start putting fantastic results on a run now and really show and kick on and do what we do best. So that's all I've got to say about this upcoming game versus Johnstone. I think it's going to be very difficult, but I think we are going to have more than enough to go ahead and pick up all 3 points. So all that's left for us today now is try to predict the unpredictable. So get involved down there in the comment section below. What do you think the game is going to be like tomorrow? Me, myself, again, I think it is going to be a battle, but I do think the first 20 minutes is going to be very vital, and I think if we score there, I'll make it much, much easier afternoon, especially with St Johnstone going through their own transitional period right now, missing key players. If we can score an early goal in there, we might knock what is a little bit of a shaky foundation. So I do see a couple of goals coming for Rangers in this, but I'm not going to go anything crazy. I'm just going to go with a solid Rangers 2, St Johnstone 0, and I would love Bakuna to get on that park and show what he's all about, especially with Leon coming on Thursday without Hadji being the mixer. We might need that midfielder that can create a wee bit of magic out of nothing in that game versus Leon. So a couple of minutes versus St Johnstone, a wee bit of masterclass, get his confidence up, would be very, very nice on the old ticker. But that's it. That's the first preview back from the international break. That's us discussed everything we need to discuss. Now all that's left for us today is wrap up today's video. So hopefully you did enjoy it enough to be getting involved in the comments. If you did, I'll be speaking to you very, very shortly. But until next time, I've been Sieging over into. That has been an awake Rocky Boy Johnson eating a bone. But until next time, take care of yourselves. All the best and bye-bye.